Good evening, council members, honorable mayor. I want to first thank you for the opportunity to come in front of you to speak about ethanol and the effects it could have on our community. If you don't know, ethanol is a very dangerous product that is being shipped, transported, and produced throughout the United States these days, and it has a great impact not only on public safety of our firefighters, but also the public safety of our citizens. So I'd like to take just a couple minutes, go through a little bit of history and the facts on ethanol, and we'll get into how the fire department is preparing to protect the community. So a little bit of history on ethanol. Due to the Energy and Independence Security Act in 2007, we've seen a major increase in ethanol production across the United States, and we expect it to continue to increase. There's over 13 billion gallons of ethanol produced annually in the United States. One of the reasons for that is because of the tax incentives that came about in 2005 and when the act was updated in 2007. Ethanol is typically shipped across the United States in all forms of transportation that we're used to, being barges, semi-tractor trailers, and rail. And as you know, in our fire department, we have miles of rail and we have miles and miles of interstate covering 88 square miles of this growing metropolis in western St. Charles County. The Midwest is a common feedstock for ethanol because production facilities are mostly located near farms. In this area, we're a growing area, the fastest growing area in the state of Missouri, yet we still do have some rural areas out just to our west and north of us. And transportation along these highways and railways is bringing this dangerous product into our area. Ethanol is volatile, flammable, and is a colorless liquid. It's mostly produced and manufactured in alcohol beverages. You see E85 and all these other alternative fuels these days. Basically, it's ethanol with just a little bit up to 5% of gasoline mixed into it, and that's how we have this ethanol emergency. The Midwest is a common feedstock, as I said, because of where we're located. But since ethanol is cleaner energy than gasoline. That's how it's gained its prominence, and that's why it's being encouraged to be used in our everyday lives. Where can these emergencies happen? We can see these emergencies anywhere in our community. We have several gas stations that have fuels. We have already discussed that we have miles and miles of interstate. We have Interstate 70 that runs east to west. We have Interstate 64 and Highway 61 that runs north and south. We also have truck stops in our fire district, and you can go up any given time up to the TA truck stop and find hundreds of trucks on the lots parked with who knows what chemicals and hazards in these. So it's a true case in our fire district that we need to make sure that we are prepared for and looking out for our citizens. Ethanol is a public safety risk. Again, it's mainly flammable. That's the highest concern. When it's released or spilled onto the ground, it can vaporize very quickly into a vaporous gas. And when released into our community, what us as first responders will be several things that we're going to have to take into account: time of day, where it's released, what it's released near. Is this tractor trailer released on a highway with a school nearby? And is there several hundred school children inside the school? How will we evacuate the school? If it's during the school day, that presents as a problem. If it's in the evening where there's nobody in the school, it's less of a hazard. In our fire district, we have several things. We have jails, we have nursing homes, we have hospital facilities, we have psych facilities that are on lockdown 24/7. If we have an ethanol emergency outside of St. Joe's Hospital, which is a psych hospital that's on lockdown, how are we going to evacuate? Are we going to shelter in place, which may be a valuable, or not a valuable, but maybe the best effort we have, our best strategy we have. But we need to be thinking about ways to be getting our patients out of there. And it take great coordination with the ambulance district or the school district to provide buses or whatever we need to coordinate with the hospital and possibly even law enforcement to get these patients to a facility to protect them. Specific hazards to firefighters also, as like I said, it's very flammable. It burns very clear, very clear, and has a wide flame, unlike gasoline, which we're typically used to, which burns very thick, black, toxic smoke. And ethanol is a skin and eye irritant if it is ingested as well. So what do we need to do? We need to start thinking about strategies for our firefighting to protect our community. Ethanol is a polar solvent. So what's this mean? Normal firefighting, traditional firefighting tactics cannot be used in these types of emergencies. The most important response to these emergencies will be the type of foam we apply or dry chemical agent from dry chem extinguishers. Using these types of foams will take special training, mainly because of the application process. You need to have a gentle application of foam onto this product in order to keep it out of its volatile state. Also, we need to be worried about the environment. The priority number one is going to be to reduce its flammability hazard, but because it's miscible in water, it can also rapidly migrate through soils, making it difficult to recover out of soils. Strategy will vary based upon each incident. So containment and control of burning. In some instances, in open areas, it may be best to allow the product to just burn off. This requires a great oversight of fire department and first responders. You just cannot let this type of agent burn off without securing the area. And it's only feasible in open areas. If it's in a confined space, it can create a volatile situation, explosive situation. Another response strategy would be foam and suppression and flooding. Again, the use of AFFF foam. We apply a foam blanket gently to the product can help the vapor stay compressed and hopefully prevent the hazardous volatile flammability situation. Once that's applied, you can drain, you can dilute with several copious amounts of water. And then the third is removal, off-site disposal, and that's typically like a hazmat incident where a hazmat team, the fire department, will respond with the county hazmat team. Mitigation will be used to again suppress the flammability. And then it will be contained and it will be cleaned up by a hazmat company. So, we've discussed the dangers in our communities on how dangerous and growing in popularity ethanol is. Fire departments across the United States are just now realizing the true emergency that this is providing into our communities, and we have to find a way to plan. And planning takes time. The fire service and firefighters, getting them on board. Not only does it take time, it takes training, it takes coordination with the council, it takes coordination with administration. So things that we are going to start addressing immediately within our fire department in order to protect our community and our citizens is we're going to need different equipment for deployment. So number one is we'll be working with our communications center. Anytime there's a suspected issue on the highway or rail yard, the response will automatically be a first alarm with a tanker, which means that we'll be sending 6 engine companies. The engine companies typically have 500 gallons of water. Tanker carries 3,000 gallons of water. across the country, that's what we're seeing as one of the issues with fire departments, is that they're not properly prepared to respond to these incidents with the water and the type of foam or dry chemical agent. So along with that, we will be adding additional foam to our fire engines and our ladder companies, which will be responding to these incidents. In addition to that, we will stock extra foam in our storage facility, and that way that will be more accessible if needed. We'll be working with our mutual aid partners, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, to ensure that the foam trailer, number one, that the county stores is properly staffed, properly equipped, and the training of all firefighters who will respond using that trailer is up to par. We also need to work on countywide mutual aid training for these incidents, because, as you know, in our area, we respond with all of our partners. We act as one big, large city department, even though, in our fire department, we have 5 engine companies. Lake St. Louis has 1. And O'Fallon has 5. We respond as one big department. So we continue to train and work with them. But training's going to take 4 steps. And we're going to talk about awareness, which that'll be classroom portion. And then will be operations, which will be defensive. And then will be technician level stuff, which will be way more advanced, a little bit more hands-on than the technician level. And then also we need incident command training. We need to make sure our chiefs, battalion chiefs, neighboring chiefs, anyone that will come in the command structure is aware and up to date on their NIMS and incident action planning, and also be working and coordinating with our local LEPC to make sure responses to these incidents are handled properly. Lastly, we'll have to be doing some education with our public. I recommend use of social media. Social media is a great tool that we can use. We can also do some mailers. We could fit that into the budget to send to our constituents inside our department, stating what the fire district's doing to prepare for these emergencies, and if they are involved in these types of emergencies, some simple things they can do, and the hazards that are associated with them. So, with that, I want to take time to thank you for all the support that you've given the fire department over the years. I also want to thank you for your support of myself and my staff. It is a true team effort in order to make things happen, and we look forward to implementing these changes within our fire district in order to better serve our community. Thank you.